Check. How about that? Can you hear me now? I'm hoping the answer is yes. Appreciate the feedback. I might have been doing all that talking and nothing was happening. The irony of that. The irony of it all. All right. So let me know if this sound is coming through. All right, Marge, can you hear me now? Let me know if that's coming through. Let's roll this. Okay. So I'm assuming I can hear myself. I don't know if it's coming through on your side. So check. All right. That's headphones. All right, I'll turn my... There you go. So it's not so loud. Okay. So if... All right. So how this works, yeah, let me know if in the chat if you can hear this. And I'll just kind of act as if for right now. But let me know if that it's coming through. And let me check one more thing just to make sure. Yeah, we're good there. So yeah, we should be there. All right, I'm into that. Let's see what my settings are. Just make sure everything looks good. All right. Cool. Excellent. So, where you guys from? Where you representing? West Coast, East Coast, international? Where we at? And again, this is a drop and chop session. So I guess the best way to think about it is those old call-in radio shows. Frasier, all that, but dedicated to MCing. So that's kind of what this is about. So link on the screen, get connected, drop in, ask your question, and we will chop it up about the craft. But where are we from? Are we representing? Who's watching? From where and when? And I guess why? Why not? Where, when, and why? Okay. Let me get back to this. If you have questions too, just type them in the chat. I can address them that way if you don't want to have a full on coaching session with me right now. It's cool. So I had big plans this last week to freestyle every day. Started my 21-day challenge of freestyling, and I caught an audible. I was like, too much to do. Had to finish up the school year, and just had to be honest with myself about with the protests and the Black Lives Matter and just race being a big issue and prevalent right now. It kind of keeps me closer to my emotional edge than normally am. So what that usually means is just kind of like a lot of ups and downs. And so some days I'm like able to really, like, some weeks I'm able to just be on it, be consistent and get things done on my schedule. And then there's other days and other weeks where, I'm just showing up just to try to be consistent in showing up, but I'm behind on things. I'm not doing things to like my best degree. So if you understand, or if you ever had weeks like that, let me know in the chat, man. So, thanks. Appreciate that, ducks. And yeah, and being real with myself about next week, like I do want to do a freestyle challenge because I'm really into right now I'm really into just like the experience of freestyling in the moment and its connection to just mindfulness, present moment awareness, and cultivating. I don't even know if I have the words for it yet, but all I can think of it is it's like, okay, so your normal day to day thinking about like, okay, I'm going to do this, in an hour. Like your ability to plan and think in the future about what you're going to do and then reflect on the past about like what's, what you should learn from your past to be able to be better in the future. Like the mechanism that allows you to do that is kind of hampered when you're freestyling in the moment, because if you get too stuck in the past, then you're not generating ideas to your next idea. If you get too stuck in the future, you're not executing in the present moment as far as like what you're trying to say. So there's a different sensation that I'm experiencing with being able to be present in the moment and understanding what it feels like for me. So I want to really dive into have more experiences with that by freestyling more consistently and really reflecting on the experience itself, not so much like if I'm, if that was a dope freestyle or not, but more of like what's going on in the moment for me. Because I think as I've attuned to being able to pay attention to the experience and what I can control in the experience, not even just the words, but then my ability to actually deliver freestyles in a way that actually feels free and not confined by my expectations for myself, like trying to sound dope and sound good. Like I enjoy it more, and then more is able to come through me. Last night when I was freestyling with my master rhyme group, from like the first freestyle, like it felt really good, and I just went in and I might listen back and hear the mistakes and things like that, but if I'm talking about the experience and the sensation of it, the first few ones really were like, man, I feel like I'm at a different level right now. And then as the night went on, you get tired and you get back into those ruts. And so what I'm looking to master now is that maintaining that consistency of experience no matter what I'm talking about. So that's what I'm looking forward to working on. But I don't know if I'll get to it next week, to be honest. Got a lot of moves to make for this channel, got a lot of moves to make in business in general. And, all in it with the idea of like advancing this vision. But that's the rub, man. It's like I can spend time mastering and developing my craft, but then it takes away from the time to develop and build and work with you guys here. And there's a balance I got to strike with all of that, of course. And so it's kind of but then there's an energy balance too, where if I'm always thinking about like, oh, this would be great to teach you guys, then I'm not fully present and just like doing my own art. But what I realized too is, I'll learn it. Like as I'm keep showing up, I'll develop again that ability to be able to go in and out of my creative space as well as remember the lessons to be able to teach from there. So that is what learning is all about. What's up, Max? All right. So again, for those just joining us, drop and chop session. This is free rap coaching. So think of your questions. What questions do you have? What challenges are you coming across as you attempt to master the craft of emceeing? Maybe it's songwriting. Maybe it's freestyling. These usually the two main things I get questions about: freestyling and songwriting. Though a couple weeks ago, I got a question about motivation, being able to stay in it after you may like have a dip in motivation. And that was a fun conversation too. So we could talk about mindset. you know, I talk about rapping, from an artistic standpoint and from a skill standpoint, but it's also if you're following me and you're watching this and you've been watching this channel for a while, I hope you recognize that beyond just a really, fun and joy filled craft that rap is, it's also a tool for cultivating yourself. It's also a tool for self actualization, knowledge of self. I was actually reading some articles last night that was talking about basically hip hop therapy, like using hip hop music and the creation of it as a way to build positive narratives for yourself. And I could say that's definitely been my experience with it, even though it's not like I went to writing and becoming an MC because I wanted to cultivate a positive image. It was just one of those things where the two just kind of fit hand in hand. So that's kind of why I keep pursuing it and will pursue it for the foreseeable future, because it helps so much. And as I was just talking about with freestyling, the two things that I know that really anchor you to the present moment: meditation, which is, it can be challenging to start. It's simple, but simple is not easy all the time. And it could also be boring at the beginning. You know, Sitting, closing your eyes, and just focusing on your breath, and then freestyling, and because it's like an active form of being present and still experiencing the present moment while trying to communicate something. And I think with any art form, anything that can really help you dive into the possibilities of the infinite present moment is that can really get you anchored and connected, and allow you to see yourself and see things a little bit more clearly. So that is what. So that's kind of where I'm taking in MCing for myself. Is beyond just writing songs and getting a rap crew out of it, but really thinking about how to cultivate myself with it. All right. Isidoris, I guess that's how I'm saying that. Let's see. I had this dream. I had a dream, half awake, half asleep, and watched the video in my dream state. It was a 1 billion view video. I remember half of it, including most of the beginning lyrics. You want it? Are you asking me? Bishop is fine. Cool. Bishop. What are you asking me here? What do I want? Do I want the video or the lyric? What are you attempting to share here? And then also, again, are y'all just hanging out with me? Do I want the dream? The dream of having a 1 billion views video? Is that what you're pushing on me, Bishop, right now? So y'all just hanging out with me, or do y'all actually want to get connected and ask a question, man? Just got some questions that we can talk about. Yes.
Our son is still asleep. He hasn't roused at all.
Do you want to wake him up?
No. I hope this is a new life pattern.
Well, just check on him, maybe.
I mean, I did on the screen.
Yeah, okay. I'm on right now.
Huh? Oh, you're live?
Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
Okay.
Hi, everybody.
So the video for it was called Floyd. All right. Well, I appreciate that. I'm not sure where this is coming from, but the example of sure, why not? Let's roll with it. Let's see where this goes. Let's check some things out. All right. Sorry, just checking my settings. I vaguely remember that show. That was one of those shows that played on repeat where like Nick at Night. They have Floyd in there. You have some vivid dreams, Bishop. What time we got? Half an hour enough. Okay. It's a pretty ill dream, man. I like it. Like the juxtaposition of the old school black and white TV era, the portrayal of cops back in the day compared to the portrayal now. That would be a very interesting interesting thing for sure. Lyrics. All right, let's see what we got. He said, "Nah, I'm talking." It's like me. I wonder what kind of beat you imagine for this, Bishop. Like what style of beat was playing under these lyrics? I like it. R&B sounding. Okay. So you don't have access to equipment to make it work out, to put something out with it. Here's an idea, man. And this is for anybody. Like, why don't we like put out acapella verses? You know, like why don't we put out acapella verses that are set to like certain tempos that then, so just like you could get a beat and then write to it, a beat maker or a producer could find some lyrics, find some deliveries, and then put it to their beat. Like, why is that not a thing? Or maybe it is a thing, and let me know, because I'll be all over that. Because I think, because I swear Eminem did this, like, where I think he was rapping to like a metronome, right? So if you can get your skills up to a point where you can rap to a metronome, then, and then people, I mean, beat makers, they should have the ability to be able to adjust a tempo within reason. So, you can do a trap tempo, right? And you probably have like a few BPMs fluctuations there. You could do, 90, mid 90s BPM and be able to like fit a lot of boom baps, have some fluctuation with that in there. But yeah, and just have like catalog of verses that people can come and be, hey, yo, let me get that verse, put it over this beat, and then put it out. I have no clue like how the money would fall and all that. And that's kind of the last my concern. My thinking is just like, you know, there's so many people. I mean, even back in the day when I was heavy in actually beat making, I had plenty of things that I never used, and I was mostly making beats for myself. So it's like I couldn't write to everything, and it was before like beat making and selling it online was like blowing up like it is today. But even then, as it blows up today, it's like there's still going to be like this back catalog of just beats that are just like gathering digital dust, if you will, in the servers. And then, I mean, beats that producers like and be like, yo, man, why don't you just be able to go, all right, let me listen to these lyrics just by themselves. And then be like, oh, let me put that there. You get a license for them or something. I don't know. I think it should be a thing. I think that would be dope. So, yeah. And the Ghostwriter. Man. So I don't know. I feel like that should be a thing. Maybe it will happen one day. So, all right, let's see. Max, you got a question. So, hey, bro, I would like to increase my confidence in writing. I love the craft, but don't feel good enough, which results in not writing enough. It's very rare that I like what I'm writing. So do you happen to have any advice on how to approach a situation like that? It is a catch-22, right? I can approach it from the many different angles, but the main truth of it is that if you don't feel like you have a skill in something, you don't want to do it. And if you don't want to do it, you don't do it enough to actually develop the skill in it. So that's the catch-22. So what I will there, and honestly, Max, this is kind of one of those like, if we could actually talk about it, that'd be good for like this session if you want to do that. But if you don't, that's fine. I'll kind of put some ideas out there. I'm going to start with the first idea, which is but I don't feel good enough with the results. Like this idea that the good enough idea, I'm going to start there, right? Because whatever you consider good enough is a subjective opinion. And what you have to do is make your subjective opinion tangible. So when you say something is not good enough, when you're saying your writing is not good enough, what specifically do you mean that's actually within your control, right? So being able to say like, it's not good enough because it's too obvious. It's not lyrical enough, like that. Like at least getting into what you mean when you're saying something is not good enough, like actually describing the not good enough, then that gives you the area to then begin to focus to improve that, right? And then that helps you, that helps you separate the idea of like judging your work from learning the craft and learning the skill, right? you're saying your writing is not good enough because you're judging your work as you're learning how to do it. And, think about what happens when you judge something. Usually it's like, okay, it's not good enough. I don't need to do this anymore, right? And then you're not writing enough. Versus saying like, you know what? I'm reading this. I'm using a lot of single syllable rhymes. I'm not doing. I don't have any double entendres in there. Now you have a couple areas to focus on and to get better. So that would be, I think, my first place to start is like figure out what's not quote unquote good enough about your writing, and then proceed to work on those areas. And then as you work in those areas, you'll be able to make improvement. I would do want to say this, like the whole idea of, I threw out examples of like single syllable rhyming as like, oh, that's not good enough. Like, again, that's totally subjective to your style, your taste, and your preference. So you just have to understand what it is that you like, what it is that you're going for, and then learn, keep writing enough to develop a style that match your taste. So that's what I would say to that. And I mean, that's a big idea, honestly, like really being able to dissect your judgments to really figure out what you need to improve. The other idea I'll give you is increasing your confidence with writing is that go for quantity and give yourself permission to write a lot and write every day. And this is, I always recommend, I call it the 4 bars a day, like write at least 4 bars a day. It could be even 2 bars a day, but I just recommend writing at least 4 bars. I know people who write 16 bars a day. I think last week's drop-in shop session, there was the homie from Sweden. He writes at least 16 bars a day. And if you can do 16, awesome, do 16. But I like to keep it at 4 for like, because 4 is one of those numbers where you could still say something. Because the four bars, it's kind of like music usually changes every 4 bars. So being able to say something in 4 bars is good. But also 4 bars is small enough to keep you consistent to do it every day. And the more that you write, the better you'll get at it. And if you combine it with the first tip, which is basically, really the first tip is like, don't judge your writing, right? Examine it and figure out what you need to improve. So if you combine it with that tip, you don't judge your writing, you just write, and then you keep looking at the areas that you want to improve within your writing, but you never judge it like good or bad. You're just like, yeah, I wrote this verse. This verse seems to be very theoretical, like I'm using words that aren't too concrete. So next verse, I'm going to try to write more concrete. And you just keep finding different ways to tweak and adjust your writing. And then all of a sudden, when it's time for you to like write a verse for a song, or there's something you want to say and communicate, you'll notice that you have all the abilities and techniques and tools to be able to execute and deliver what you want to say when you write. So, and I think that's how you get confidence in it. It's when writing becomes a habit and you're able to look at it through a non-judgmental lens to be able to see technically what a verse is doing. So that's, I wish I could make it like punchy for you, like quickly. But yes, don't judge your work, write every day. And that's how you'll build your confidence in your writing. So, yeah. And honestly, here's the truth of the matter too. And I think this is why I'm doing this, is that most often people are learning how to rap by themselves, right? Now, I mean, some people might have a crew. They might have like, people like that you started rapping with, but for whatever reason, if you find yourself that you'll find yourself like it's just you and a mic and a pad, and like your friends are no longer around. They're doing whatever they need to do, right? They didn't maintain the passion to be able to continue to pursue this craft. And so when you're in this space where you're writing alone and you're doing the work and it's draining and it's taking energy and you're not getting the feedback from your surroundings, from people that really let you know that what works and what doesn't work, it's super easy to not be confident. And you can be really dope. You could be like, man, like the next goat. You know what I mean? But because you don't have that feedback, you don't have that guidance, it's hard to know like how to assess your skill level. And then it gets worse too if you don't put stuff out, because think of it this way, right? The same ability, like your ability to be receptive and make observations about the world and notice language patterns and notice how people react when you say words in certain ways, like that level of sensitivity also makes you really sensitive to criticism. So you don't want to release that album or release that song or release that verse because what if people don't like it? What if people are going to talk mess? And like we're sensitive types, creative folks, and we have various ways of dealing with that sensitivity and masking that sensitivity. But to be able to put pen to pad and really be able to like connect in on an emotional level with others through our words, we're a little bit more open than the quote unquote non-artist among us. So if you're not releasing music and putting yourself out there, you're still not getting the feedback that you need to kind of gauge to know like how people are going to respond to things, right? And so part of why I'm doing this here and I'm offering more coaching services as well is that I want to be, because this was basically my journey, right? But the difference is I want to be like that coach to that younger version of me. So like that kid that's like, hey, I want to rap, but I need some guidance. Like I want to be that person that provides that guidance. So that's what this is all about. And I can only do so much with the free drop-in sessions. Do what I can with that, especially if nobody's like dropping into the session. I don't know what's going on with y'all. Come on, man. Like, I mean, I know I'm talking to people and that's great, but like I would actually like to hear your voice and interact with you. But maybe next time, because we only got about 15 minutes left. So it is what it is. But I think as, just human beings, we do need certain level of feedback from the external world to let us know that what we're putting our energy in is worth it. And as a, teacher, as a coach, as a person that is trying to help people express themselves, speak their truth, develop who they are, become positive influences in their community and their neighborhood and the world. That's what I'm here to do and here to provide. And with all that being said, with all that, it's been a crazy ride. It's a crazy time, and I think now more than ever, being able to have a skill that really allows you to take your life experiences and turn it into art and poetry that can potentially last, beyond you is needed right now. So yeah, I appreciate y'all for being here. This is a lifelong pursuit, so we're gonna keep it going. And let's see, I might start the wrap up. Let me see. Check the participants. See who we got. Still rocking. It's all right. Cool. Max, you got any more questions, man? Before I kind of do the wrap up. All right. Whew. Long night, early morning, but that's okay. Nah, it's all good, man. Go ahead and ask away. Don't be shy. Oh, let me get back to it. There it is. Yeah. How would you start writing a representer? I'm not sure what you mean by that one, Max. And then let's see. I want to say Chati. Vague question, but let's see. I can freestyle to a beat. Finally, getting good at my craft every day. I freestyle around at night because my day job. Yeah, I know how that is. And sometimes I can't sleep because my mind won't stop running. Any suggestions? Man, shoot. So I'm assuming the fact that, the problem is that you can't sleep. So, because your mind keeps going, man, this is more, it's like you need a sleep doctor in this one. I guess I could say maybe try a morning routine with it. So instead of freestyling at the end of the day, try to freestyle at the start of your day. See if that shifts things a little bit. If you get breaks in your job, maybe freestyle during the breaks. And if we're talking, I guess the question too is like, how is your mind running? If your mind's running like still freestyling, like, and just kind of thinking of these connections, then maybe having some type of like, end of the night ritual where it's just kind of like you use that to calm your mind down. And because basically, the flow is still there, the freestyle's there for you, right? It's not gonna, it's not. What I am imagining is like, especially in the beginning, because I remember this sensation too, or like when I first started freestyling, like my mind was expanding, and so like everything I saw, like I was just thinking about how to use it in a freestyle. And so I guess the other thing I would say is that if you're at kind of in that phase of it, it will pass because literally your brain is rewiring, taking in a new habit, and that's sparking a lot more activity. And so the more you do it, the more settled your mind might become, and then you'll have a different set of challenges after that. You'll have the ability to freestyle, but it won't necessarily be, it won't. From my experience, what I noticed is like after, maybe like the first 2-3 years of like really getting into it and being excited by it, it became like another mode that my brain has, where it's like, I do rhyme like habitually because that's just in there. But when I'm starting to think like, okay, freestyle mode, it's like, all right, I'm looking at everything from a lot of different possible angles. looking for connections between, the ideas that pop up in my head. So, but I can like turn it off as well. So I think eventually for you, my guess is that it will settle. But a night routine. So if you definitely like freestyling at night, I would just say at the end of your freestyle, maybe just try to have some type of unwinding routine that's like probably doesn't involve TV or a screen because that's going to keep you up. Um, you know, meditation. Sitting in silence. Talking to yourself and just being like, the flow's still there. It's okay. I don't know. So something like that. Or try doing it in the morning, waking up maybe a little bit earlier, and catching morning bars. I think it wasn't freestyling, but do I have him? Yeah, I think Crooked Eye. He's a dope West Coast MC in the U.S. and I'm pretty sure it was Crooked Eye. I remember reading years ago that he was writing early in the morning. Like first thing he would do would wake up and start writing. And I think he did it for like at least 30 days, if not longer. And so people do that. People have routines where they engage in a craft in the morning. So that's something you could try as well. So cool. Well, y'all, thank you for rocking with me. No one dropped in to chop it up, at least in the Zoom flesh, but you dropped in and chopped it up through the chat, and I appreciate that. So also J. Cole also did that. Yeah. Yeah, I like J. Cole. I like I like his skills and then also like what he's about. So I feel like J. Cole is gonna be he is already he already has like a solid career, but he's building something that's going to be more of a like a legacy. Like he's gonna have longevity. That's what I'm getting at with J. Cole. And I think I hope and I need to get some more experience under my belt. But what I hope is what you learn through this channel and through these experiences give you skills for longevity and not just for the moment, not just for the immediate get on and get hype and have everybody pay attention, but skills that are like, that's skills for life, right? Skills for your personal life, sure, and skills that last. So, in the words of De La Soul, longevity, baby. That's what we talking about. That's what this is about. So, and that's why my streams and videos are so long, because it's about longevity. If you can't hang with long videos, then you're not in it for the long haul. Anyway, let me stop before I spark beef that I don't intend to spark. So, all right. Thank you for checking this out. If you notice on the channel now, there's a big join button. If you can become a member of the channel, it's just $4.99 a month. You'll get access to premium lesson content from my Rhyme Masters vault. So things, the freestyle blueprint. I'm actually posting those videos this month. So teaches you like the basics of freestyling, the good fundamentals that people. When you teach yourself to rap, like you figure out the ability, but then you don't get the fundamentals. But when you relearn the fundamentals, then you're like, oh, now I have more possibilities I can do within my own craft. So I recommend everybody checking it out, even if you're already freestyling. So become a member of the channel, and then also members get, if you ever want to get live Rhyme Masters coaching with myself, I do have some. I am taking clients, and you get a discount on that service for being a member as well. So join the channel, check us out, and support it growing, because man, it's definitely I've been humbled because it's like took a long break from the channel and came back to it, and it's still here. It's still rocking. So I'm committed to making this work and making it grow for you. So I appreciate you. And as always, it is not about perfection, it's about connection. So until the next time, I will see you. I'll see you next week. We'll do it again. I might shift it though. I think I might try to do 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, just to give, maybe it's too early for folks. Who knows? Who knows? But we'll shift that. Try it out a little later. Come back through. Tell your friends. Come with questions, and let's build these skills for life, y'all. All right. Till next time. Peace out.